Hi, everyone, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and right now we are in the Chamber Gallery of Las Vegas City Hall, a place you can visit without a mask as long as you're vaccinated. The exhibit right now is featuring artwork by Asian Pacific Islander artists, and we'll be taking a look at it throughout the show. But first, you know, we do this every summer, but apparently it bears repeating since Las Vegas Fire and Rescue gets more than 300 calls from people spotting a child or a pet in a locked car. So our fire department joined forces with Las Vegas Metro Police to do a demonstration showing how quickly those temperatures can become deadly and what you should do should you spot a child or a pet in a locked car. Our vehicles can transform from one of the safest places to keep our kids strapped in with us as we travel around town to one of the most dangerous places for them if left unattended, particularly during our scorching hot summer months. At this recent press conference, Lieutenant Dave Valenta said even on that particular day when it was only 88 degrees, the car would heat up to at least 108 degrees in about 10 minutes. Officer Larry Hatfield was in the car with a thermometer during the briefing and would come out shortly to prove that point.
It's especially important to remember, though, he's a grown adult and that the child's body heats up 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's. Especially if traveling around, they're usually also additionally restrained in a child seat, making it even more problematic.
So the question often arises as to what to do if you see a child in a hot car. Lieutenant Valenta says if the child could be in distress, the first thing to do is call 911. But if the child is clearly in imminent danger?
If the child is unresponsive and in distress, do what you can, try and access the vehicle, see if the doors are unlocked, and in worst case scenario, break a window to rescue that child. Please make sure you wait around for police response to give a statement and a report.
Las Vegas Fire's Tim Zemansky says many people think having tinted windows makes your child safer. But with the air off and even with the windows cracked to open, tinting actually causes heat to rise faster.
We did tests at the fire department. The inside of the car got up to 135 degrees in 4.5 minutes. The darker the tint on the window, the hotter, the faster inside the car. That's called a greenhouse effect.
So on this 88-degree day, in just about 10 minutes, how hot did Officer Hadfield's car get? The thermometer showed close to 140 degrees, and the officer said he was already beginning to struggle with the effects of that heat. Of course, this was a controlled demonstration, and as an adult, he was able to get out and get checked by our paramedics. Our children and pets don't have the power to save themselves. It's up to all of us to protect them. It's not only the humane thing to do, it's the law.
If you see a child left unattended in a car, in any circumstances, you should call 911. It's considered a medical emergency. You're obligated by law to do it now. We will be en route as quickly as possible. We consider it a medical emergency. We're going to go code 3 to get there.
By the way, both Metro and the fire spokesman agree that if it's not in the heat of the summer and you don't think the child is in imminent danger, there are other steps you can take, like going inside the business where you think the driver might be and having them paged, letting them know their child has been spotted. Just sort of a gentle reminder that it is against the law. By the way, everything you just heard in that story also pertains to pets in cars. There are some very strict laws protecting them as well. Well, things are looking brighter as we head out of this pandemic. People are getting back to work. And here at the City of Las Vegas, we are again hiring firefighters. Sue Levitt takes us out in the field and shows us what it takes to become a member of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue.
The objective of this drill is to be able to effectively stretch a line and get it in service, okay? So for this one, we're going to try and get the heat as realistic as possible. So you're going to be right at the level of the heat. You're going to see a lot of good fire behavior in there, and you're going to see our tactics at work.
COVID put a freeze on our fire academy for some time. But now the recruits are back in action.
You guys got to take self-responsibility for them. Is that understood? Sir, yes, sir!
Hoping to become the next firefighters for the City of Las Vegas.
They are tough, they're grueling, physically, mentally, emotionally, they are exhausting. And what we get at the end of that academy is the ideal candidate to service the community, and we also get people that are in shape and that are mentally strong and ready to serve for 30 years.
Leading by example, Fire Chief Jeff Buchanan is taking time out of his day today to run with the recruits. He wants them to know that the hard work doesn't stop after the academy and that it's important to stay in shape your entire career.
Down! Down! Down!
The Fire Academy consists of 6 months of some pretty grueling and demanding training. The recruits are pushed to the limit physically every day. They train to know what to do when flash flooding hits our city. They spend time in the flashover chamber to see the progression of an actual fire. They train to be defensive drivers and know how to extricate victims in vehicle crashes. A vast amount of training, all while having to pass extremely difficult physical benchmarks.
Our goal is from the beginning of the academy to the end of the academy that we see a drastic change. A lot of them come in from many different backgrounds, from many different places, some of them with experience, many of them without experience. So our goal as a cadre is to bring them together as a team, to get them starting to work together as a team, and then by the end of the academy and graduation, they're working very well together, so that when they go out to the floor and out to their crews, they're used to working in that team environment.
Everyone get on a knee and adjust it to exactly where you want it now.
Teamwork is the only way to get through this tough drill.
Left, right, left, 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 right, left.
The recruits are required to carry a stretcher all the way around Lone Mountain, which is about 2 miles long. Crucial training needed to rescue hikers or those hurt in areas away from the city.
Even if we do have these strategies, we really do need to be together as a team, because if you're not together and you're bouncing around, it makes it really rough. That's why you see multiple companies, we're doing marching in a cadence or such, just to try to be as smooth as possible.
And after a rough year, Chief Buchanan is looking forward to a smooth year ahead.
It's super exciting for me. It was a really tough year for a number of different reasons. We need people, and for the next foreseeable future, there's a lot of individuals that are going to be retiring. We need to replenish our firefighters that are retiring after an awesome career of service, and it is exciting to get people new into the organization. It's two of the very best things that you can do as a fire chief. Be a part of hiring people and promoting people, and bringing in the new energy is super exciting.
The standards are high and the academy is not easy. And one of the challenges still ahead for these recruits is to run to the top of the Stratosphere Tower in full gear. It's tough, but if you think you have what it takes to join the next academy, you can find more information at lasvegasnevada.gov/firejobs. For City Beat, I'm Sue Levitt.
Those recruits still have a few months left in the academy. We'll be following their progress, and of course, we wish them the very best of luck. Thank you, Sue Levitt and Eric Sorensen, for that story. Well, you have probably heard by now, one of the finest teachers in the nation works right here in the city of Las Vegas. Juliana Urtubey works at Kermit Booker Elementary School, which, by the way, is a City of Las Vegas reInvent school. She's the first Nevada teacher to receive this honor and the first Latino educator since 2005 to receive the honor. All you have to do is listen to her talk about teaching children, and they picked the right person. Whether in a classroom here at Kermit Booker Elementary School,
it's a very important part of the relationship with plants and people,
or out here at the school's community garden, Juliana Urtubey makes sure all of her students are engaged in whatever the day's lessons may be. Engagement and inclusion are of particular importance to the students this recently named National Teacher of the Year has chosen to teach.
So I work in our inclusion pre-K class, I work with the autism programs, and then I work with the students who are within the general education settings. So I provide special education supports for them and for the teachers.
We all know it takes a special person to dedicate their life to nurturing and growing the lives of our children. All of our teachers possess that selfless trait, but to teach in the special education arena can require even more patience and understanding. As Mrs. Urtubey explains, these students are just as capable as others of learning. They just learn differently.
I've always gravitated to folks who learn and think differently, and I just really appreciate their brilliance. And so being a special education teacher helps me find their strengths and design learning in a way that really, really makes them love learning, because kids with learning and thinking differences with special education needs don't always love learning. They don't always feel successful. So I knew that I could help them feel that way.
One of the ways she reaches her students is through the school's community garden, where she spends so much time and puts forth so much effort. She's earned the nickname Mrs. Earth from her students.
It just symbolizes what the community garden really meant to our school community, and it probably has been like the most prestigious award I've ever gotten, is to have that nickname.
Oh. More so than being National Teacher of the Year?
Well, I think that they're par. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Out here among the growing vegetables and flowers, she sees her students also grow.
And so for my students to take part in, one, beautifying their community, two, sharing healthy vegetables with each other and having access to them themselves, and three, being able to care for something other than themselves, it's just a different part of them comes alive. Like, I remember I had once a kid say, "Wait, they're not peeled and little." I said, "No, sweetheart, we do that for you, but this is what they look like straight out of the ground." And when kids taste vegetables straight from harvest, they taste so much better that it's easier to get them to fall in love with eating vegetables that way.
The Council of Chief State School Officers chose this teacher out of all of the nominees across the country as a shining example in her field. But Juliana says she does not look at it as being best. She looks at it as representing the best.
This is a beautiful recognition, but it's an even more beautiful responsibility. I get the chance to represent our country's teachers, students, and their families. To be a Latina and to have that privilege is to make paths for my students, for students who look and come from similar backgrounds as me. And I get to elevate our stories. I get to tell them in a dignified way that really focuses on the strengths.
Her advice to anyone thinking about becoming a teacher is it's a wonderful career for anyone who wants to have a hand in cultivating strong, curious, and kind leaders of our future.
This is a career that every single day you get to impact the lives of your students, and it's exponential because I'm still in contact with students that I taught 10 years ago, and to see them grow and flourish and know that I was a little part of that really fills my life with purpose.
By the way, when this was announced on May 6th, another famous educator happened to be in town. Our First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, was here for another reason, but when she found out that Juliana had been chosen as National Teacher of the Year, she stopped by to personally congratulate her. Now there is an honor right there. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you why some of the brightest minds in the tech industries were here in Las Vegas thinking about making this their permanent home. Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Mary Kamen. Mary is the city's Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT, program coordinator. The city's CERT program teaches our citizens how to respond in an emergency and render life-saving aid to those in need. Following a major disaster, first responders could be stretched thin. Communications failures, road blockages, and the number of victims could prevent people from accessing the emergency services they need quickly, so people will have to rely on each other for help. Our Office of Emergency Management and Mary train our community to respond if we should experience a major disaster. These CERT volunteers learn to assist others and keep themselves safe in an emergency. This has resulted in thousands of trained volunteers, including medical professionals, teachers, and retired first responders who can step in and help out. Mary took charge of the program in 2018 and has set an excellent example for other jurisdictions to emulate. For her dedication to our community and its safety, we congratulate Mary Kamen, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the Chamber Gallery inside Las Vegas City Hall. You know, if there could possibly be a silver lining to the pandemic, it may well be that it taught agencies and companies across the country that for some workers, working remotely from home can not only be productive but motivating to their staff. With that concept in mind, the City of Las Vegas Department of Economic and Urban Development decided to get in on the idea and invite workers from, say, Seattle, the Bay Area, to Las Vegas and show them why this might be a place where they can get a bigger bang for their buck by living here and working there. We spent the day with EUD as they hosted people from across the country, showing them why putting down roots in Las Vegas is a perfect idea. We know that each year, with the exception of the pandemic year, 42 million people choose Las Vegas as their vacation destination. We have the best entertainment, dining, shopping, and gaming, as well as beautiful outdoor spaces for recreation. But what many do not know is along with all of that, there's a quality of life here that makes Las Vegas not only a great place to visit, but a great place to live. So the city's Department of Economic and Urban Development invited workers and CEOs from other states to this overnight event to show them the many reasons Las Vegas is a place they may want to put down roots. EUD targeted workers and CEOs in high-tech industries where salaries are high and remote working is encouraged.
Markets that they currently live and work in are some of the most expensive markets in the whole United States and potentially the world. And so we're saying now that your company is empowering you and allowing you to have to work remotely, to have a quality of life, to kind of make your own decisions about when you go into the office and when you don't, we're trying to show them what Vegas has to offer to say, hey, look, you know, your dollar is going to go so much further. You still have access to the whole country, to the whole world, and you're going to be able to kind of integrate with this community and really grow here.
They were given a free room at the Downtown Grand and treated to a day filled with information and fun, starting at the Downtown International Innovation Center. A panel of speakers answered questions on every front, from our economy to our lifestyle.
I came from Los Angeles, and so I was one of them. I was a transplant, and the minute I got here, people were so warm, so welcoming, and the benefits to living in Las Vegas are just outnumbered. And I've been here over 25 years and have never regretted my choice to move and become a Las Vegas local.
The city's chief innovation officer was part of the panel. He explained the visitors were currently sitting in the Downtown Innovation District, established in 2016, where there is plenty of room for more creative minds in our city.
Incorporates probably about 30 square miles of different space that we test out different technologies. We have since 2016, over 300 pilot systems we've tested here for companies.
It is here in Las Vegas where new technologies such as autonomous vehicles and intelligent streetlights have been tested. One of the event sponsors, Cox Communications, was on hand to talk about community involvement and how during the pandemic, when kids were told to learn from home, Cox worked with the city and the Clark County School District to make sure all 312,000 students had access to the internet.
We said, okay, let's find every single one of these students who do not have connectivity. There was 20,000 of them. So working with the CARES Act, which was provided by the federal government, the city of Las Vegas, working with Clark County School District, got $3.2 million to help take care of these kids.
Economist Jeremy Aguero presented them with all of the economic reasons Las Vegas is the place to live, from our outstanding tax structure to our affordable cost of living. But he left them with one very important fact. Most people who live here are not from here.
And they have moved here in huge numbers. Las Vegas has been at or near the highest in terms of population migration of anywhere in the United States. And why? I think more than anything else, I mean, from before it was largely because we were creating a lot of jobs, right? The American dream still exists here where it didn't exist in other areas. You could start a company, you could own a home, you could do all those things and have it actually work in the state of Nevada. That's why people came.
Most in attendance already had an interest in moving here, but this CEO is committed to moving his entire company here. Anand Nandukumar founded his company, Halo, after serving as an executive in Uber's self-driving divisions. Halo makes autonomous vehicles.
A product that we were building, we needed to work very closely with governments, with cities and municipalities. We had about 6 different cities that were bidding for our contract, but Las Vegas was one of the most interesting ones. From the first day we did the first presentation to them, to getting to a contract was just 4 weeks. Incredibly fast, incredibly progressive thought process in how they see the vision for transportation.
But the day was not just about telling, it was about showing. So with box lunches in hand, provided by Summerlin and the Howard Hughes Corporation, participants loaded on a bus and headed to Summerlin.
Hi, yeah, you can eat on the bus.
representatives from Howard Hughes Corporation hopped on too. This was a chance for participants to see the many housing and entertainment options available in Summerlin.
We're ultimately in what's called downtown Summerlin. So you're in a master plan community. We're about 22,000 acres. So that's about 35 square miles.
The bus traveled through many of the established and brand new housing developments, showing a wide range of lifestyle options and various price ranges. But for those who prefer urban to suburban, the tour wrapped up at Jewel, a downtown high-rise residential option.
This one's priced just under $300,000. We do have 344 homes in the building with 137 floor plans.
Many were surprised at the amount of space you get for the price compared to their cities.
This is the size of an apartment in San Francisco.
At the end of the housing tours, cocktails by the cool Jewel Pool gave us a chance to see if this day in our city changed any minds. And for many, it did.
Tax is great. Cost of living is great. I mean, where else in the world or in the U.S. can I find the talent pool after listening to the conference speakers? There's a huge talent pool coming in from UNLV, all of the different colleges and university in town.
I did like the idea that, even though obviously here, it can be like really sunny and hot, like you also have say 45 minutes away, a ski resort. I thought that was pretty cool. Like it's like, if you're feeling really hot, well, you know what? I know where I can go to cool off.
The day wrapped up with a ride on the downtown loop to the Museum of Law Enforcement and Organized Crime. Seems learning about the mobs of old Las Vegas was the perfect way to end a day, steeped in all that modern-day Vegas has to offer. Congratulations to EUD on a very successful event. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about a very special honor bestowed upon the famous plaza in downtown Las Vegas. But as we go to break, we're going to show you just some of the art exhibited up here in the Chamber Gallery.
We're going to the playoffs.
Welcome back to City Beat from the Chamber Gallery in Las Vegas City Hall. Some people think that Las Vegas doesn't embrace its history. In fact, they just think we implode it. Well, that is not true. In fact, our history can be seen all over downtown Las Vegas, the Mob Museum, the Neon Museum, and the historic West Side and Fifth Street schools, just to name a few. In fact, recently, one of our hotels and casinos was honored for its history and its architecture. The Plaza Hotel and Casino is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. And to add to the milestone achievement, another honor was bestowed upon the property on May 18th.
And so it's a very exciting day for the city because this is where the city actually took root, right here on this spot on 1905.
Mayor Carolyn Goodman joined other dignitaries and Plaza Hotel and Casino staff in accepting the Nevada Preservation Foundation's bronze plaque, naming this property a significant building in the history of our city.
Nevada Preservation Foundation congratulates Jonathan and the Plaza team for keeping the legacy of historic Vegas alive and ensuring a memorable experience for present and future guests at this international destination.
Mayor Goodman reminded people of the significance of this very spot, dating back to our city's birth in 1905.
And this is where our entire community emanated from to build into this outstanding entertainment capital of the world, where dining and excitement abound all the time.
The presentation was made by Cynthia Ammerman with a big thank you for keeping our history alive.
Jonathan, thank you for being a steward of this wonderful, beautiful building and for keeping Vintage Vegas alive.
Thank you. In 2010, when we did the big remodel here, a lot of people thought we should knock down the plaza and start again. And we didn't believe in imploding the plaza. We believed that we could turn it around and continue to improve, reinvest, and make it into something special, which we believe it has become today.
Senator Richard Bryan was also here for the ceremony. He says this is not only an honor for the history of the plaza, it's an indication of more great things to come in downtown Las Vegas.
But I think this also not only recognizes the historical nature, but it's also, I think, symbolic of the revitalization of the downtown. And looking across the street at the Circa and this property where they spent tens of millions of dollars indicates, I think, a future vitality of downtown Las Vegas.
So cheers to the Plaza Hotel and Casino, and here's to not only being a significant part of our history, but a significant contributor to our future. A big congratulations to the Plaza Hotel and Casino. Well, that does it for another City Beat. We want to thank you for joining us from the Chamber Gallery. If you'd like to come and check out this exhibit, beautiful artwork by Asian Pacific Islanders, it will be here through July 15th. Thanks for joining us. As we go to close, we're going to take you to a very unique parade held in downtown Las Vegas. It was a reverse parade. You'll see what we mean.
Hey guys, come over here, make sure you guys look good. Face your hair.
Today we have the Las Vegas Days Parade, formerly known as Heldorado. It is one of the longest running events, the longest running event in the city of Las Vegas, starting in 1934. There's a twist on this year's parade. It is a reverse parade. Due to COVID, we wanted to keep everybody safe, and a reverse parade is a creative way to keep everybody socially distanced. So our parade entries, the folks that would normally be going down the parade route, are stationary, and they're on the sidewalks down here on 3rd Street between Garces and Coolidge. And our spectators are going to be driving through the parade route. So it's the first time they get to drive through the route, and they get to wave at all of our parade participants.
What do you think about the reverse parade they're doing?
I've never heard anything like it. Only in Las Vegas could something like this succeed.
We are celebrating the founding of Las Vegas. What is it, 116 years ago?
Wow.
I'm almost that old, but not quite. We keep pumping. This is going to be a cute little parade. We've got all the cars lined up and ready to follow us along behind Big Red.